Welcome everyone to another What's New in Dynatrace, July 2023. We are covering 269 and 270 today. So if you are on these new versions and you want to know what's happening, what's new, then we have another session for you. And actually, it's not me, it's us, or it's actually Berkan. Berkan, thank you so much for doing this. Hope everything is good.
All good, Andy. Thank you very much. And thank you again for having me on this session for every month.
Yeah. Hey, let's jump right into it. I know it's a lot of cool stuff that the team is putting out. What do you have prepared for us today?
Sure. Okay. So let's start with this part.
Yeah, a couple of new videos maybe also. That's probably one of the contributions that I at least do on a monthly basis. Folks, we have a lot of videos out there, both on YouTube as well as on Dynatrace University. Those that I can really highly recommend is the Mastering Kubernetes Resiliency and Cost to Dynatrace, where Henrik Rexed did a phenomenal job. Then GraphQL and OpenTelemetry. I know many of you are using GraphQL as a key component in your architectures. So in this case, we had a Dynatrace user talk about how they get visibility into GraphQL. And then we also have the latest Dynatrace tips and tricks. So if you are on the new platform and if you're trying to figure out how to use JavaScript to enrich your dashboards, your notebooks, and also your workflows, then check out the latest session with Arishan, who gave some great best practices on using JavaScript. You have all the links, but these are the latest highlights. Berkan, I think over to you. Now the floor is yours.
Thank you. Let's get started. Okay, hi everyone again. So as we did several months, let's say, we always start with the feedbacks and resources page where you can ask your questions, provide your feedbacks to our product management team and to our community team and to our Dynatrace One team, where you can raise all of your questions in chat and get response in a couple of minutes and easily. And of course, in this session, this clinic, we are going to focus on the product updates, what we have in Dynatrace for the latest 2 versions. As you know, we roll out our SaaS clusters every 2 weeks. And in this month series, we are going to focus on the version 269 and 270. So starting with the new features of our sections, on the top right of the page, you are going to see the category of each section. And now we are starting with AppSec, application security, new updates. And here the first one is the entry point information for code level vulnerabilities. We can see the entry point information in the code where an attacker can enter the system and exploit a vulnerability in your data. And to help you with these details, we exactly determine to resolve it. And the entry point information is now displayed on the details of a page of the vulnerability. Here you can see a small screenshots on this page. And the next, we have added our additional events in vulnerability evolution section. Now on the main page, you are going to see these events under the status section of vulnerability evaluation. Of course, we are going to show you in our platform what exactly that you have as new feature, but for now, it's just a small updates I'm covering and the documentation, of course, to see all the details related to these features. On the permission ends, we now need to use view security permission to see these configurations. So for example, security notifications under integration setting, for vulnerability alerting profiles under alerting, and attack alerting profiles under alerting. Now you don't need to have the managed security problems. Only view security problems will be enough for you to see the configuration in your platform. Again, on the security permission and the managed security permission, managed security problems permission is required for you to view and perform bug changes. You know that the bug changes on third-party vulnerabilities, code-level vulnerabilities, is a process that are useful for you to trigger that large-scale that actions on your security analysis needs. And here is an example where we detected 388, I guess, that vulnerabilities on this demo environment, and you can trigger these bulk actions that only requires the managed security problems permission for you. And again, for more details, here's the documentation you can reach out to from our presentation. Before going to the observe and exploit section, Andy, do you have anything that you would like to add from your experiences?
I think, thank you so much. Especially, I think the it's great that you mentioned the API endpoints that we have for the vulnerability endpoints. The bulk edits are very important, especially as large scale, as you mentioned. And as a reminder, you are showing a lot of links here as well. The links will also be, I'll try to collect them as part of the description of this video. And on Dynatrace University, we will also upload the video next to the slides, or the slides next to the video. So you can also just download the slides and click on the links as well. Just wanted to make sure. No, but this is great. Thank you so much. Great to see that there's always new stuff coming in security, what we provide to our customers in our AppSec feature.
Thank you. It looks really great. And now let's go to our environment platform. To find these updates, to find these new features, this is the page where you can read our release notes, and these are the two sections you can get all the details of this part. On the security side, let's focus on our platform demo. As I mentioned that we talked about the entry points. Here on the right side, let's move this menu back, the left. We can see the entry points, the code where, as I said, the attacker can enter the system and exploit a vulnerability. And to see this section, you just need to go to our security overview application. And from this application, you will see the code level vulnerabilities. If I click on these view code level vulnerabilities, here there are 4 detected vulnerability here. And if I click on this, just one of them, you will see the entry points information on the bottom of the page of this specific vulnerability. Okay, that's all. If I click on the details of this entry point, of course, you can also see the payloads and the related data, or this example is an insert operation that we can get all this. The next one is about that about the additional events in the vulnerability evolution. Again, the same type of flow, same type of user flow that you need to focus. And at the bottom of this page, exactly here, you will see the vulnerability evolution events. Basically, you have several events data here and the description of the vulnerability, the risk assessments and entries, and also, of course, under the status that we have this latest events available. Okay, for example, this one is a critical vulnerability we can understand from the score on March 21st. On the permission end, I mentioned, there were a couple of updates, especially talking about the bulk changes and also talking about the configuration related things you might remember from the alerting profiles or from the problem integration. So to have these permissions, you just need to go to your account management from your platform. And under the identity and access management, if I, for example, click on groups, we will list all the groups that have permissions in our environment. And if I, for example, view only one group and see the related permissions, we just need to focus on the one with the security under permissions section. And here you can see the exact item, which is view security problems that you need to see. You just need only to see the related configurations under your alerting sections or problem integration sections. That's all. And of course, also the next one that we are going to now focusing now, we also talked about the managed security problems permission. Here is the section. Once you have this permission, you can easily trigger and view bulk actions in your security application. For example, I can change the status of this to any vulnerability, and these are the new statuses for this. That's all. Let's go back to our presentation. and then we can come back to our page.
Also, one last
Later
thing
on.
to this section. Folks, if you're watching this video, especially on YouTube, we will also add time slots for every single section that Berkan is talking to. So first the overview and the slides, for instance, for AppSec, then the live demo. So if you want to quickly jump between the section, also look on the bottom, especially on YouTube with the timelines. You can easily navigate.
That's great. Thank you. And yeah, in observe and explore section, we now have double ingest periods when you upgrade your logs to our new solution, the log management and analytics. With this version, activating logs on Grail now includes the option to start a double ingest periods, which is 7 days. It is important for you because you can do historical investigations on your logs without losing access to your data immediately after it is ingested. If you would like to enable this new log management solution, of course, as you know, that we promoted a lot, that it is very important for you, as I'm sure about that. Therefore, please check your environments, especially the log section. And if you see this banner, consider activating your page to Grail and bring your data with you. That's all. For the details, here's the documentation you can easily access from this presentation. And the next is we have REST API audit logs for platform services. These audit logs are collected on the API gateway, as you see from here, for all platform services that are exposed to App Engine and app development. And every service exposed there has the additional value of automatic API audit logging built in. So here's an example how we can analyze these audit logs that we collect from your platform service integration. These are all stored inside of the audit log buckets in Grail as system events, as you see, for 1 year. You can also use DQL for dashboards or notebooks to analyze your calls or a workflow on your REST API audit logs. And each audit log also contains like error code, API path, authentication context, and metadata, so you can analyze the activity in your environments. And this is an example query where we can analyze these audit events in our platform. I will also show you in a couple of minutes on the demo environments. The next one is that we improved our dashboard's filtering logic. Now you can just think about that by adding these individual filters, now the operator behavior change. For example, individual filters are on the dashboard are now end conjuncted. Take filters and custom dimension filters for the same dimension, key or entity are or conjuncted, and if there are multiple entries, either predefined or another custom dimension, these are all and conjuncted. You can find all these details in our release notes. I'm sure that you could understand anything from my now explanation. It's also the same for me. I also read this from my notes, but these are all that available in the documentation. You can try and test and see how the filtering logic change and how it can help you to define your meaningful analysis on the dashboards. An important update, the custom charts now it's end of support. So this was the banner, maybe you didn't see before, but here it's if you have a classic custom chart, this is the warning that means that you need to upgrade your charts to Data Explorer. Now it is important because it is it will no longer receive fixes or enhancements, and it will not be editable soon. It is the Data Explorer is also that much more capable for you, so you will be able to edit your charts and benefit from your ongoing fixes and enhancements from Data Explorer features. And please, consider upgrading your custom charts in your all dashboard tiles, because the version 265 was the latest Dynatrace version to release support custom charts. And for the SaaS version 271 and 272, which is really that early, we are already in 271, we will completely disable custom chart editing, and discontinue chart code maintenance. You can, of course, upgrade your charts tile by tile and dashboard by dashboard using API all at once, and also it's possible. Okay. That's all on the Explore, Observe and Explore section. Anything you would like to add, Andy, here, or do you want me to go to platform directly?
No, I think let's go to the platform directly, but very thank you so much for highlighting the custom charts, the Data Explorer, and obviously with the new SaaS platform capabilities, we also have our new dashboards there. And it's also very important for people, especially new to Dynatrace, to understand that we had an evolution of how we give you access to the data, custom charts, Data Explorer, and then the new Dynatrace dashboards and notebooks also provide new capabilities to especially look at data that is stored in Grail. But thanks for the reminder on the custom charts, which have been great in the product, but it's time to move away from them to give you new capabilities, either in the Data Explorer charts or in the completely new dashboards on Grail.
Exactly. And also the integration between Data Explorer or the new dashboarding application is much more capable with other applications and other integration. For example, the SLO creation or custom light creation. Therefore, we strongly recommend you to upgrade your charts as soon as possible to the new version. But I think many of our companies that should done this already. That's all. I think it's just a reminder. Hopefully, let's see. Okay, let's close this part. So in this Observe and Explore section, I mentioned the audit logs. And in this audit logs, here is an example query where in our demo environment, if I run this query, this is just an example data you are going to see in our platform, in your platform. And these attributes that are also available, this different type of values, for example, for event type, for event card, these are all audit event, as you see. And event providers API gateway, as I mentioned in my notes, that we have this integration from the platform services, and the resource and user ID and so on. So of course, it depends on your data that you fetch from your integration, but this is the section. This is the exact action that you need to do to analyze your logs on your platform. Of course, you can also use API and have your analysis on your local. And if you would like to open this, if you would like to explore your analysis, of course, you can use dashboards, notebooks, you can set reports using workflows. Always check this also app integrations in your platform to explore the different capabilities. For the dashboarding, I mentioned different filter behaviors. So to have this section, to understand how multiple filters work together on a single dashboard, when you go to the dashboards itself, you just need to click on Edit section, Edit button, and under Settings, you will see Configure More. And if I click on Configure More, dynamic filters will be available here for you. And when you check that, when you understand the behavior, you can easily add filters, filter criteria, and your dimensions from this section directly. Okay, and the last is the classic chart dashboard. I found an example in our demo environment. Here is the warning. You will see which you need to upgrade your chart. And if you see that, you can preview also your upgraded chart directly on your dashboarding page. Okay, that's all. Let's go back to the infrastructure sites. Okay, on the infra end, we have the init container support, which means that it might affect your numbers in these two different metrics. The first one is Kubernetes container out of memory kills and Kubernetes container restarts metric. So you might see an increase as we also include occurrences of init containers. This is just an example chart where you can analyze this metric in your data explorers directly, but this is just an information that for you to be considered. And now, maybe it's more important, I would say the servers and database overview page and also have the new framework. It was possible before with the hosts, or I can say that, for example, mainframe, that it was easily, you used the unified analysis page framework. So now it's also available for the servers and the database pages. Okay, and this is important because you can have now interactive microcharts that only focus on anomalies, and you will see the key request directly on the overview page. Of course, we will see that on the right side, we will have Davis exploratory analysis, and there are more that you will have in one unified single page. Of course, please share your comments with us and interact with our product managers to see how we can improve our design in a much better way. This one is a minor update. We just renamed Monitor Workload Resource Metrics toggle. Here you will see the new named toggle and available in this cluster settings section, just for information. Again, on the workload sides, for the nodes and workload pages, actually for both of them, we now have the transition age column for condition stable, which shows you the display type in a relative formats. It's also the design update, I would say, that might be useful for you to see. The next one is that we include important events toggles on monitoring settings page, and it's now extended to include 4 additional event reasons. You can see these events, and you can, of course, enable this toggle from your cluster settings, as you see on the screenshots. Another one on the anomaly detection section, we have extended our problematic node condition alerting capabilities by adding these alert types. And to see this toggle to see this alert, let's say you just need to navigate to node section under anomaly detection menu. And here you will see the toggle, and of course that's events information in there. Okay, that's all on the infrastructure monitoring end. Let's go back to our platform and let's close this part. Okay, so the first one that I mentioned is the unified analysis screen for servers and database services. As I said, now you will have this interactive microcharts focusing on the anomalies directly and the key request section that I mentioned. And also if you, for example, analyze, let's say that failure rates, on the right side, you are going to see the Davis exploratory analysis with the suggestions together with you. Right now, there are no connected signals, but this is the section where we understand where we show you that how we analyze your different signals from different resources and correlate all this information to inform you with a more accurate root cause information. And also, of course, you will see this topology information in the service section, and we have traces, logs, service metrics, as well as in context. So there are lots of different capabilities available in this single service page. And just use it just for information and let us know again if you see any that potential improvement, if you see that any that's different bad and good user experience, of course, just please reach out to our product management team as well as our Dynatrace team.
I also think what is really great about this is, as you said earlier in your slide overview, this is now all the same framework, the unified analysis framework that we already had for other views and entities as well. Especially the ownership information is great here because we know that ownership is very important for many of you. So who owns this particular service, who owns a particular process, a host, a container, workload. Now we show you all of this information in a single screen, making it very easy for you to navigate. And what I also really like is the key requests and endpoints view, the table, because you get a nice overview immediately about response time over time, failure rate. It's like you get immediate overview of everything that is relevant for the particular service. So really great stuff that this is also here.
I totally agree with you. But of course, there are some cases that you might still need to use the classic view. And to do this, you just need to click on this return to classic page to have your analysis that's in a database that as you were familiar with. So this is also important for all of us, for users, for employees, to have a smooth transition between different frameworks, and it gives you time to understand the new unified screen and the beneficial parts of this new approach, of course, your service. Okay, and here, as I mentioned, we added a new attribute, new column under conditions table. If I click on these two conditions here, you're going to see the transition edge column available in your workload settings. That's pretty easy and good to update also that for you to know. And again, on the settings side, if you go to your cluster settings, in monitoring settings, you will see the related monitored workload node resource metrics section. And this is just renaming, of course, but I just want to remind you that this is the part that you can access this toggle. On the settings ends, we, as you know, that we also mentioned two different options. The first one is that detect. Okay, sorry. I think it's only one that we have. Two different events that we mentioned. We mentioned important events toggle in monitored settings. Sorry, exactly. And here that 4 different events we added, you might remember from also the presentation, for example, that pod failure policy was one of them. And this is the part that you can enable and activate those event alerting. And also we introduced 7 or 8 different node conditions as new. Here it will be listed as you see on the right side under information button. That's all. Okay, let's continue. Last section underneath features parts, we now have a how can I say that's a rule update, I would say, in log monitoring configure timestamp. When you configure your rule without a rear specifiers, that we will use the current year to evaluate the timestamp. Just for information, here is an example you are going to see in also the main environments, and this is the warning you will see in your platform when you use your rule without a year specifier. We introduced a new method of authenticating with CyberArk fault for credential synchronization. You know that maybe that for the ones that do not know CyberArk, that it offers host-based authentication, which allows, for example, predefining hosts, allowed machines in the vaults, and that can access your credentials. So it streamlines the authentication process and bypass the need to fetch access tokens useful for more efficient monitoring and log data analysis. And here how it looks like. Once you enable this toggle, synchronization with external fault, you will see the CyberArk fault option. And this is how you can configure from your synthetic settings. Okay, before jumping down this blog, let's see the latest 2 updates. On the settings, let's click on the first one. Here for the log monitoring, which is fine. We can open one more time, it's even better. We can show you how exactly you can reach that timestamp configuration. If you click on settings application, you will see the log monitoring, and here we have timestamp configuration. And for example, if I add a rule here and define a pattern, let's say this one, when you use this timestamp pattern without a year, you will get this warning that the year is missing. Therefore, we will use the current year to evaluate your timestamp. That's pretty simple, as you can see from your page. And as I said, as a new credential fault, we added new CyberArk authentication method, and here is the option that you can see as a selection. Once you click on this, you can define your allowed machines and a host name, IP addresses for selected locations available here. This is all you need to do under credential vault application. I believe we have this section as an application directly. Let's see if it's available. Yes, exactly. If you search for credential fault, you will access this page directly from your platform.
Cool.
That's cool. I hope you're on time, Andy.
Yeah.
Anything that I need to speed up, or I need to
No,
get
I
slower?
think it was great again that you reminded us, especially with the new Dynatrace user experience that we have. Control K is your friend. You can always now find all of the different sections in the product with Control K, search, like the credential vault that you just showed. Also, thank you so much for the reminder on the CyberArk integration. I did not know that this is now possible. And the other thing, from a login, just we see more and more people obviously using Dynatrace now for log management, and having the ability to then default to the current year, I think is a good thing to have. You know, for me as somebody that is rather new to log management, that's a good piece of information to know.
Definitely. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go with our Dynatrace blogs in product news. In real user monitoring, we expand coverage for modern mobile UI frameworks. So there's a blog post where we talk about how Dynatrace for monitoring user experiences and performance of your mobile apps, and we expanded this coverage with modern mobile UI frameworks. For Jetpack Compose support is one of them, starting with the Android Gradle plugin version 8.263. We offer auto instrumentation for Jetpack Compose UI components. Here is an example which you will see after you have the implementation, and the same approach, the same coverage that also we have for other frameworks. For example, in this section we have the Swift UI support, and now the auto instrumentation capabilities of Swift UI were significantly also expanded. Of course, you can read all these details in the blog post, but you can just think about that by having these auto instrumentation supports, the developers, your teams can easily capture user integrations, web requests, crashes, and other vital app lifecycle information, and it will allow you to focus on your application, your user experience, and while ensuring your observability across different mobile app technologies. And the last one, but not least, the .NET mode supports is also available, starting with Dynatrace version 265, our dedicated NuGet package helps auto-instrument your .NET mobile application. And here is just a short view of what you have. The data is similar. I can say we have the similar design for different technologies, and to implement these different frameworks for your environment, here is the blog post that you can read the details and the documentation, that you will have all the details, and the instrumentation wizard you will see in your mobile application settings of your platform section, of your platform. Okay. Okay, let's cover the demo part and after finishing all these blog posts. So the next one is the Dynatrace platform subscription model. You know that we introduced this model for several months ago. So we are always trying to emphasize how it's important for you to have this flexible subscription model. And we always try to show you why it is the better approach for you to manage your cost of your cloud platforms, containers, networks, data center technologies without thinking of host memory limitations. And here is a pricing list, I would say. Of course, it's important for you to reach out to your account management teams to see that what is your requirements, what is needed. And it can be also that get complicated for you thinking about these complex environments, also that complex, it's a little bit with pricing option. Therefore, please always share your feedbacks with us. Please always let us know with your experiences of this pricing, because we are really trying to make this part as transparent as much as possible and flexible as much as possible for you. Right now, we are calculating these videos with 15-minute intervals for precise usage tracking and billing. And we give you the details of your consumption under your account management section. You can do your analysis for each environment, for different technologies, for different type of metrics. And therefore, please, again, that I would like to mention that this is very important for all of us to give you this full access, simple contracts, and no hidden fees, so that you don't get surprised with different costs. And this is definitely that we don't want you to see for. So for details, go to our documentation. Again, it's now available for every new and existing Dynatrace customer, SaaS customer. And here is also a page that you can contact us. Of course, you can also use chats, reach out to the account management team. So basically, just let us know about all your questions and opinions about these new subscription models. Hopefully, it will increase your platform experience in terms of that cost details.
I think overall, I think it's a great way that we have introduced this, because it very much aligns to everything else that you probably out there are know from your other SaaS and platform vendors, where you're using different capabilities as you like. You don't need to come up with a new contract if you want to try log analytics or RAM or security. You can basically just say, I want to try it out, I want to consume it. And now we give you a very detailed overview of how much do we charge per particular capability, and then we also give you a nice overview, even a prediction model, to see how much you really consume. So everything very transparent, as you said, no hidden fees. TPS is the way to go. Will make your life much easier.
Definitely. Okay. So the last one is of course, blog post that I mentioned, that you can read all these details and see the flat price rating from this blog post as well. Just for information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Another blog post, which is called Accelerate Your Cloud Journey with Dynatrace Observability for AWS S3 logs. And now we have a solution for forwarding logs from AWS S3 to log analysis platform, providing enterprise-level support, which is, I think, important part. To date, some of our customers already use the open source or community-backed components to forward logs from S3 to Dynatrace, but now it's available that for also on our end, we introduced a preview of early adopters or community support only, the solution. But now it's important to know that we have that release that's for enterprise-level supports. So this log forward is designed to scale up to meet the demands of our large customers, some of whom operate thousands of AWS accounts. And here's an example that's how we can analyze these logs once we ingest the data. And it's the same tools, the same approach, the same capabilities. You can get response in seconds for large scale data. Can implement your these capabilities from several accounts, hundreds of accounts on AWS. And we also use notebooks to increase your exploratory analytics needs in your platform. So this is also another example where we can use notebooks. These are all explained in the blog posts. And we support various AWS services, a wide range of use cases. You can find all this also service details in the blog post. And once you have this data, you can use notebooks, you can use dashboards for different analysis needs. So basically, these capabilities are integrated to each other for you to have your needs in a single platform. And to get more details, here is a blog post link. You can see this documentation. We also have an observability clinic where you might see a familiar face that talks about AWS S3 logs in Dynatrace. And if you have that feedback about this integration, this is the link that you can reach out to our community channel. And the familiar face is Andy that you talked about this S3 logs in Dynatrace, that how we use this log forwarder. Maybe Andy, you have a couple of cents here that you like to add maybe in this section, or you want to direct our users to
yeah, just like what we try to do here, as you can see, the how-to videos. We really started a new playlist where we try to provide very short videos, like 3 to 5 minutes max, on particular use cases or capabilities. So this is one of the first ones that I created. As you said, very easy to forward your logs from different S3 services to Dynatrace now. Everything is explained, and hopefully the video helps as well. Thank you.
Thank you. I also personally really like the how to do this logs in our playlists, because it's important for you just to focus on your needs, your requirements, and then you can understand, at least you can understand how the implementation works with Dynatrace and how it's possible with different technologies. Okay. Another one is on the OpenTelemetry end. Oh, sorry. So now we offer native support for OpenTelemetry logs. By using these logs, it will be standardized for you across different systems, and it will be easier to integrate and work maybe logs with different platforms. So therefore, I think it's really important that for you to have this OpenTelemetry logs in your platform. And you can also, by ingesting these logs, you can also complement these logs with your collecting traces and metrics via OpenTelemetry protocols. And you can ingest all these logs, all this data via the OpenTelemetry logs ingest API. Again, as I mentioned, it is not limited to logs alone. It covers traces, metrics. It's integrated with different applications. So it's always that you can think about the single platform which covers your different needs. And now in this blog source, we talk about the OpenTelemetry logs. To see what you need to use OpenTelemetry logs, this is the documentation and the blog post that you can see. And we have another observability technique, another how-to videos, how you can ingest OpenTelemetry log lines into Dynatrace without one agent. And differently in this section, we also have a hands-on lab, which you can find from KillerCode.net website, where you can use the log pusher with Dynatrace. This observability technique explains how you can use this also hands-on environments for you to see in a real-world example. Not real-world, sorry, the demo example, let's say. The last one from Wolfgang Beer, we have automated predictive capacity management with Davis AI for workflows blog posts. In this section, we provide step-by-step instructions how to set up Davis AI for workflows to predict future capacity shortages. And as you see that this is an application available in Dynatrace Hub. So as an example, we picked a metric, which is the disk-free space metric. And we basically defined that metric and the forecast data, let's say, to understand that when you will need to increase your disk space. And we also integrated this workflow to trigger automatic reports at regular intervals. These are all available in the blog posts that you are going to see. And you will also see the configuration of the forecasting workflow step. And you will also see the metrics forecasting. It is how we use the forecasting that we mentioned in the previous blog post. Therefore, I don't put the details here, but these are all available together with the previous blog posts in the new one. So you can read all the details from Wolfgang's post. And of course, you can also navigate to Davis problem speeds. Your teams can review all predicted disk capacity shortages. And to remember that raising these events and problems is an optional remediation step that can be skipped entirely. You can send these emails directly or Slack messages to your responsible teams directly without analyzing the problems as well. Again, these are all explained in this blog post. This is the documentation for you. And here is the Davis Analyzers service where we adapt to our use case and to explore the best practices about these creating applications on our new platform. Here is the forum, developer forum, where you can ask your questions, share your feedbacks, share your use cases to understand what exactly that you can do with the new platform. And yeah, let's quickly show you what's available as a demo. If I navigate to the Dynatrace blog, the first section that I mentioned is the instrumentation wizard that we have for different mobile app frameworks. Here you can see all the lists available under the application settings. As you see, it's available here. And you just need to click one of them to understand what exactly needs to implement your mobile application to your Dynatrace platform. And the next one that I mentioned about the AWS S3 logs, I think this is coming from the classical log forwarder, but still it gives you an insight at how you can analyze your logs at once you collect from your AWS environment. And here on the right side, you will see the different parameters, the AWS log group, account ID, and so on. And normally I should be able to use this bar exactly to go right sides. Oh, sorry. I'm navigating very quickly. Let's do it this way. It's fine. Anyway,
I think we also covered this in the we also covered this in the how-to video and everything. Yeah.
Exactly. You can watch that. You can go into details, of course, from various resources. So always consider use this data with different applications, different visualization types. So this is all just you can use as an example query. Okay. And the last one, as I mentioned, Davis for Workflows API. It's important to mention that you can find all these integrations, all the possible integrations, all this, maybe the potential integrations that are available here in Hub. And when you type Davis for Workflows, I think you can easily find the applications here available in Hub. Okay, that's all from my end, Andy.
Perfect.
Get back to you.
Yeah, perfect. Maybe just as a last sentence, I want to say thanks again. Give us feedback for this stuff. Berkan, right? The two of us, we've also discussing on how we want to potentially change maybe also the format a little bit of the what's new, maybe really doing it topic wise. I mean, you already did a great job in putting it into different topics, but maybe we really can come up with some topics on this is everything new on Kubernetes, this is everything new on security, and then we pack everything together. So we're working with feedback, but we need your feedback. So let us know, reach out to us. Other than that, I think I just have a reminder at the very end there's a lot of material out there that you find in the different channels, whether it's YouTube, whether it's Dynatrace University. Just, consume it. Also leave feedback because without feedback, we don't know if the work we do here actually is helpful, and also tell us what content you're missing and what you want to see. But with this, a lot of links, also the links, you'll find all the slides with the links on Dynatrace University. So you don't need to search for them yourself. You will find them all on Dynatrace University. Berkan, we will be back in a couple of weeks for the next update, huh?
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Always looking forward to it.
Yeah, same here. It's amazing what's coming out of the product. And thank you so much for all your work in putting this together and doing such a great job. Thank you.
Thank you very much also for your valuable comments and all these observability connect resources, Andy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.